Okay, so everyone thinks they know Tuscany. Rolling vineyards, Renaissance art, definitely some incredible pasta. And yes, all of that is there. But here's what I learned. If you're doing the Florence, Siena, 5 towns in 3 days circuit, you're missing the entire point. What surprised me most was not the famous cities, it was the medieval hilltop towns, frozen in time, the family run winery I could literally walk to from where I stayed, and honestly, some of the best food I've had in all of Italy. This is not a comprehensive guide to all of Tuscany. This is how to actually experience Tuscany from one home base at a human pace, in places most tourists will never find. We stayed at Borgo Alle Vigne, which literally translates to a village at the vineyard, which is a Hilton resort in Selvatelle with 1 and 2 bedroom villas that have full kitchens and wash machines. Which sounds basic until you're on day 5 of a trip and you actually need those things. The property has a pool, easy access to grocery stores, and here is the best part. A local baker drives onto the property at 9 a.m. 6 days a week with fresh bread and pastries. It's first come, first served, and they only take cash, show up early, and have your money ready. The staff speaks English, which honestly makes everything so much easier, and you can see the medieval town of Peccioli from the property. If you're there in late June, Peccioli hosts La Notte Nera, a black truffle festival with music, art, and street performers that takes over the entire town. It was incredible. Within 5 to 15 minutes of the resort, you've got these hilltop medieval places like Terriciola, Peccioli, and tiny hamlets like Casanova. Cobblestone streets, buildings that haven't changed in centuries, and the kind of places where you can wander for 20 minutes or 2 hours, just imagining what life was like when these were built. Peccioli especially blew my mind. It has become this open-air contemporary art museum with over 70 installations. Giant sculptures, a rainbow bridge connecting the old town to the new part. Basically art everywhere you look. My favorite kind of place. Medieval architecture meets modern art, and somehow it works. Pisa is obviously famous for one thing, but Cathedral Square is actually worth spending real time in. The baptistry, the cathedral, climbing the 294 steps to the top of the leaning tower, which by the way is 183 feet tall on the low side and 185 feet on the high side. Definitely go early in the day because it gets absolutely mobbed after lunch. And yep, grab an Aperol Spritz or gelato at one of the restaurants. When in Italy, right? Lucca is called the City of Art for a reason. This walled city is the birthplace of Giacomo Puccini and hosts a summer music festival that has had performers like Santana, Eric Clapton, Duran Duran, and more. You could spend all day here. The city originally had over 130 medieval towers built by wealthy families as symbols of power. Today, Torre delle and Torre Guinigi are the two most prominent ones that remain fully intact. The Torre delle has a working 18th century clock mechanism, and the Torre du Guinigi has 7 oak trees growing in a rooftop garden at the top. But here's what you absolutely cannot miss in Lucca. Buy a ticket to the Cathedral Museum complex. It gets you into the Cathedral Bell Tower and the Church of Saints Giovanni and Reparata. That church is not just a church. It is an active archaeological site with mosaics and graffiti from the 2nd century BC to the 11th century AD. You are literally walking through the layers of Western civilization. If you love opera, visit the Puccini Museum at his birthplace. It has the actual piano he used to compose Turandot. Volterra is a mountaintop walled city about 45 minutes from the resort, and the drive takes you through L'Agatico, which is Andrea Bocelli's birthplace. Once a year, he performs at the Teatro del Silenzio, this outdoor amphitheater that draws crowds from all over the world. Volterra itself has been continuously inhabited since the 8th century BC. Park at Porta di Docciola outside the walls. There are 255 stairs to get into the city's center, but I promise it is worth it. This place is known for alabaster work, and if you are lucky, you will find a workshop where you can watch artisans carving. The 1st century AD Roman theater is just sitting there in the middle of the city. The Piazza del Priore is the main square, and if you want, the archaeological park has peaceful gardens where you can actually escape the crowds. Oh, and there's a Michelin star restaurant called Del Duca. Reservations absolutely required. Okay, here's the thing I learned about eating in Italy near the major landmarks. When you step away from the tourist spots and go down one street away, or at least away from the restaurants that have people calling out to you to come eat there, you find way better places to eat. La Locanda del Streghe in La Rosa, just outside Selvatelle, does true Tuscan hospitality without any pretension. Start with the ribollita, a kale and bread soup with the texture that will absolutely confuse you at first because it's not brothy at all. It's super hearty. Think more bread pudding texture than anything else. But the flavors are absolutely exceptional once you get past that texture. The pizza dough is crispy and chewy, the pasta is perfectly al dente, and everything is made with just what's in season. You honestly cannot go wrong here. The closest supermarket to the resort is Despar in Selvatelle. It's a smaller market, but their cheese and seafood selections are incredible. You will not expect that quality in a village grocery store. Now, Podere La Chiesa is a 3-minute walk from Borgo Alle Vigne. It is a family-run winery on land that used to belong to the Catholic Church, which is what the name means. They use Sangiovese, Merlot, and Caniolo grapes. Caniolo is native to Tuscany and they ship worldwide. The building itself is wild. It is concrete, but the architect Andrea Manocci mixed pigment into the liquid concrete to give it that Tuscan color. And the holes in the building represent a bunch of Sangiovese grapes, or maybe Swiss cheese. They also have a dedicated art gallery inside that features local artists, which I loved. Reservations are required. They're only open by appointment. 35 euros per person gets you an explanation of the winery, a tour of the gallery, and a full meal with a tasting of all of their wines. Full meal. Multi-coursed full meal, I might add. We also took a pasta making class in Florence, which was fun, hands-on traditional techniques, and you get to eat what you make. One more thing about ordering in Italy. Most menus have both English and Italian. Choose your food in English so you know what you're getting, but order using the Italian words and point at the menu. Trust me on this. Whether you spend a week or a month wandering medieval towns, exploring cathedrals and ruins, and tasting some of the best food and wine Italy has to offer, Tuscany is one of those places that will have you planning your next trip long before you have even left. It really is that good. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more travel guides. I post new destinations every Thursday at 2 p.m. Remember, we're savoring the world mindfully, one bite at a time. Until next time, keep gallivanting.